Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. So today we're going to be breaking down the NFL schedule release. So we're going to be following all the leaks. There's a ton of leaks that have come out over the last couple of days, especially today. A good bit of the schedule is leaked today, actually. And we'll look at some of those leaks. But yeah, we got, T-minus 46 minutes until the NFL schedule is officially released. And then we got some cool graphics and things to break down, like some statistics, take a look at the schedule, look at some statistics around the schedule, and some cool stuff like that. But yeah, we'll dive in. We'll start looking at some of the leaks here on Twitter. Let me. I think it's at so at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. I think that NFL teams start to get to release their little videos. So we should start seeing those come out. So that should be cool. We can start digging through some of those. Honestly, I think a lot of the leaks kind of happened earlier today. And then we're kind of in a holding pattern for the next 15 minutes or so. Let's see, there's a lot of Mike Vrabel stuff in here. Let's try to get this down a little bit. How's everybody doing today? The Steelers, okay. Not sure how we're teasing the schedule release with I guess it's a show or something. I don't know. I haven't seen that. It seems like it's something based in Pennsylvania or something. Interesting. I haven't seen that. I'll throw back to the old Titans one. Well, I'm a Titans fan. If anybody couldn't notice from the sliver of the jersey they could see, it's been a rough few years, but we're hoping for a for a bounce back. I'm hoping for an easy schedule, honestly.
Boston.
Oh my God, that's loud. I remember this. This was from a few years back. It was pretty funny. Yeah, so there's been a lot of talk that some teams may make fun of Mike Vrabel and some of the oh, that's funny. Which team do you think's gonna make the most Mike Vrabel jokes in their video? I'm not sure, honestly. Probably one of their division rivals. Maybe the Jets or the Dolphins or like one of those teams. Uh, we'll see though. It could be the Chargers though. The Chargers always go crazy with their videos, so they could get a little interesting. We'll see. I think there will definitely be at least one that pokes fun at Mike Vrabel, but we'll see. The NFL's saying they're not going to review schedule release videos in advance for jokes about Mike Vrabel. So basically, the NFL saying they're going to look the other way. So that maybe tells me that there might be a few out there. Yep, we go Eagles, Falcons hyping up the schedule release here in a bit. Oh, a little Joe Burrow hype video.
It's time.
Little Joe Burrow action. It is good. Hey, it is great content, honestly. I mean, hey, if I was a team, like, and we were playing the Patriots, like, I'm definitely probably putting up one of the pictures of Mike Vrabel and Chick up there, like for sure. Oh, a little hype video. I can't. It's we started over. Let's go. I'm ready to run through a brick wall right now. Let's go. Oh yeah, there's a ton of international games this year. There's like 8 international games. One in Australia. There's one in like Madrid and Germany. Obviously in London, like normal. Somebody talking about how back in the day they just like released the schedule noon on a random day. And you'd read about it the next day in the newspaper. Yeah, the NFL's tried to make it a bit more of an event here as of late. Any in Paris? Oh, there is one in Paris actually. See if I can find a couple Twitter things, man. I'm not really sure how to like fully filter Twitter for this, but let's do NFL international games because I'm pretty sure all the international games are already out. Let's take a look at those. Yeah, here we go. So we've got Melbourne, Australia in week 1. I think that's I'm pretty sure that's the Friday game. It's funny. They have to put September 10th for the US, but September 11th for Australia because the time difference is so is so big. It's funny. Any Oh, you want to fly? Go to the Paris game? Only if the Titans were playing in Paris. That would be pretty awesome. Of course, the Saints have to be playing, right? With the whole Florida Lee, thing. That's cool. We got Rio de Janeiro. I don't think they played there last year. I think they played in Brazil, but they played in like Sao Paulo, I think. I don't know if they've ever played in Rio. Okay, I could be wrong on that. Obviously got London games, 2 Jacksonville Jaguars games in back-to-back weeks. So that's fun for them. I bet they'll just stay there that week. Or maybe they'll travel back and then travel all the way back over there, but that seems like a lot of travel. So they'll probably just practice the week in London, which would be pretty cool. I think there was a team. I think the Vikings did that last year. They had 2 back-to-back games in London, so it'll probably be something similar. Yeah, Paris game, that'll be cool. I don't know how good of a game this will be with the Saints, and I don't know, is Aaron Rodgers going to be back? I have no clue. So I don't know how the state of these two teams are going to be, but it'll be cool to have a game in Paris, that's for sure. Then got Madrid, Bernabeu Stadium. It's a pretty cool stadium. I've seen some soccer games played there. I think they may have played there last year in the NFL, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I got Munich, Germany. Patriots and Lions. That'll be a good game. That'll be a really good game. A lot of times they ship away like subpar games sometimes to these to the international games, but that's a really solid one. Germany's getting a good one. And then the last international game of the year is in Mexico City at what was Estadio Azteca, is now Banorte. They changed the name, but yeah, really, honestly, a pretty big slate of international games and a pretty solid one. Honestly, a lot of solid games. But like this first one will be really good between the 49ers and the Rams. It's like that might be one of the best international matchups we have this year. Some of the London games are like this. I don't know. The Colts Commanders game is a little eh. The Jags were pretty good last year. That pains me as much as that pains me to say as a Titans fan. We get a little AFC South showdown. Let's go. A little AFC South representation. But yeah, this game will be really good. But yeah, probably the 2 best games are probably the Melbourne game and the Munich game. Those are probably the two top games I'm seeing out of the international slate. Just lower this. Good old Seinfeld. I'm not mistaken. I think we're getting pretty close to when the teams will start dropping their videos. I think it's at like 30 minutes before the actual schedule release time. So we should start seeing those trickle out here in a few, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe they'll wait right until the time, but I'm pretty sure they put those out right before. Oh, it's just somebody's prediction. Oh, is this the chick that was like planted to like act weird in the stands for the Chargers games? Interesting. Raiders something here. Let's check out what's going on.
Thanks for joining us on Raider Nation Radio. I'm JT the Brick.
And I'm Baron Davis.
Fernando Mendoza, man.
It's a good show, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this team is finally starting to come together. I like what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think, they got to get familiar, create that chemistry, the synergy.
Gonna be interested to see the teams that he starts off against, and if he gets thrown into the fire. from the jump. I know Cam Ward, man, he got thrown into the fire early on. He had to play the Broncos in Denver week 1. That defense, that was a fun one. He held up pretty well, but that's a tough first game. I mean, obviously we lost. We lost a lot of games last year. Most of them not because of Cam Ward. It was a rough start to the season. Schedule hype. Doesn't drop quite now, but it drops in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. That's funny. Hey, Titans helmet's looking clean here, chat. Looking real clean. Titans opponents: Browns, Eagles, Steelers, Commanders, Jets, Texans. We actually, their elite came out. We play the Jets week 1 in Nashville at home. It's like the Titans' first home opener game in a bit, honestly. It's been years since we've had a home game to start the year. So super excited about that against a bit of an easier opponent, which we need, man. We don't need to be playing the Broncos week 1 again. I think there's a couple other games that got leaked too. I can't remember which ones. I think it was like there was one Jags game that got leaked. They were all like 1 p.m. games, so none of them were like crazy or anything. Bro, you can't wait to see this schedule to see which order the Titans will lose to each team. I mean, I'm hoping to get a little bit more wins than last year. We'll see. I'm really hoping for like, I don't know, like 6 to 7 wins. I mean, that would be a huge improvement over 3 wins. We've had 3 wins the last 2 years. We've won 6 games over 2 years, which is pretty brutal. But manifesting 2 wins. Nah, I think they're definitely gonna get better, but it's just like how much better do they get, I guess, is the question. It seems like we have a competent coach in place in Robert Saleh now, and good offensive coordinator, and maybe we'll have some, half decent play calling. We haven't had that in quite some time, so I'm optimistic. I think 67 wins is like pretty I think that's pretty realistic, but yeah, it does feel like 7 wins feels like crazy after, only winning 3 the last 2 years. We ask. Famous words of Cam Ward. No, so the Bucks are doing some sort of like schedule release something. No, single game tickets. They're starting to sell tickets at 7:30. Interesting. So I guess they're dropping something at 7:30. No. I'm curious. Oh yeah, 1 minute ago.
Tampa Bay Watch. Come in, Tampa Bay Watch. Do you...
Buccaneers release video here.
Bay Watch. Do you copy?
This is Bert. Go for Tampa Bay Watch. Over.
Been hearing there's some tourists causing trouble down in the bay. Need you to take care of it.
Aye, aye, Captain. Me and the boys are on it.
Very on brand for Florida right here. Panthers. Week 7 and 12, Panthers. Falcons 8 and 16. Steelers week 6. Rams week 17, man. Be a decent game. And it's hard to keep up with all these games, man. It's like all randomly mixed up. Oh man, there's a whole bunch of them here. So week 1 against the Bengals for the Buccaneers. Week 2, Browns. Week 3 versus the Vikings. Week 4 versus the Packers, and then in Dallas, it looks like Amazon. So it's probably Thursday night football game. Bucks at Cowboys, be a fun one. Then at the Steelers, week 6. This is all of them. It's the full thing right here for the Buccaneers. Panthers, Falcons, Bears, bye week at week 10. Good solid bye week. Maybe one of a couple weeks earlier low key, but not too bad. Lions, Panthers. It's like a ESPN, probably a Monday night football game there against the Panthers. That'll be a big one between the Bucks and the Panthers. We're probably with a lot of playoff implications and stuff on that one. Chargers, Ravens, Saints, Falcons. That could be a big game, depending on how the Falcons are this season. Rams, that'll be a big game between the Bucks and the Rams, week 17. For sure. All right, let's start checking out. Let's just start checking out teams here. I gotta check out the Titans one. I just happened to stumble across the Buccaneers one first. Is this it?
Oh my gosh, Woody Johnson, the owner of the New York Jets, Woody Johnson.
Far side.
Big Dom.
Jets, baby, week 1.
Look that way. Yeah, looks just like you.
Because I have a brother named
Dom.
Don.
Eagles,
Hey Cam.
week 2.
Are you Cam Scataboo? Yo, Derrick Henry.
Giants.
Oh, man, my bad. CJ
Ravens.
CJ Stroud. Sounds mad familiar.
You play quarterback for the Texans?
Nah, sir. Not
Bro,
me.
you look just like
Not
him.
me.
Pat McAfee? Excuse me, Pat.
But it's like going up to people and like naming stuff about certain teams, from people from certain teams.
Myles Garrett. Hey, heck yeah, dude. Joe. What's up, Joe?
Little Cam Ward Shador action once again.
The season, Joe? Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence? Trevor, come on. You just don't want people to know who it is? Jerry Jones? The owner of the Cowboys?
I'm from the U.
They say this release doesn't. It doesn't. It just gives you like the date, not the week or like time.
No way. Wait, say it like this. Say it like this. I'm telling you.
Commanders.
Dan Campbell. What's up, bro? Dan Campbell. Fernando Mendoza.
Is the sound okay on the street or on the stream?
Aaron Rodgers? Dude, I won't tell anybody if you're actually Aaron Rodgers. Not Aaron Rodgers. Oh, man.
January 3rd on the against the Steelers. We end this season against the Steelers, not a divisional opponent. That's very unusual for the NFL. I feel like you're usually playing like a divisional opponent your last week. I mean, I'm cool with that. All right, okay, here's the actual schedule. Of course, tickets just went on sale now too, so I'm gonna miss out on the tickets, man. All right, let's see here. So preseason, we got the 49ers. Then we got the Seahawks and Bears. Don't know. Oh man, this coloring is like kind of hard. So it's like two at home. So 2 home preseason games, 1 away. That's good, right? I mean, I'd rather have 2 home than 2 away, so solid. We start the season against the Jets at home, and then we go to, the Eagles is also at home. That's good. 2 home games to start the year. I don't think we've had that in a long time. We've started away traditionally, at least the first week for as long as I can remember, to be honest. The Eagles game might be a bit of a difficult one. I think Jets is definitely a winnable game for us. One of the better matchups we could have, honestly, week 1. I'd probably say that and the Browns is what I wanted for our week 1 matchup. We got the Eagles. It's probably a tough one. Then we got the Giants. I think that's definitely winnable week 3 as well. Then we turn around and we play the Ravens week 4. Pretty much, man, all of these are noon games. Oh my God, I think we're like 2 non-noon games. So Ravens away, Texans at home. Which Texans were pretty good last year, really good defense. Colts, we play away. Browns at home. It's good. That makes sense because we played the Browns away last year, so balance that out. Bengals away. Bye week in week 9. That's really solid. That's good. We play the Jags with only 1 game in between. We play the Cowboys in between that away, so we'll play in Dallas. So we don't end the season. Okay, we don't end the season against the Steelers. Never mind. There's a week after that one. So we play Steelers and then we play the Texans to end the season. Okay, nice. Yeah, this little turnaround against the Jags is interesting. We play them so tight, but I think we had something like that early season against the Colts where there was 1 game in between. But yeah, overall looks good. I'm happy with the start against the Jets. I think it'll be kind of like a mixed bag, right? I think it'll be Jets is easier, then Eagles will be tough. Giants will be easier, Ravens will be tougher, right? And I have a thing we'll break it down, all this stuff down further, but yeah, cool. So let's pull up some other teams. Interested in the Chargers because they're always going crazy on their schedule release stuff. So this it right here. Looks like it's video game. It says, should we really make our schedule release video in Halo? Oh, they got the music going. Start it from the beginning. Oh, this is kind of epic, honestly. This is dope. Oh, they have all the different weeks, like submission selects. It's crazy.
Week 1 versus the Cardinals. Grapple Jack. Clipped wings. Week 2 versus the Raiders.
It had a he is Mendoza or something. And it had like Kirko chains down there.
That playful person that the Buffalo City by storm in his first interview, and he sat down and was like, "Yeah, I love cookies," and he had the whole all that was all cool, but we give that grace to young players. Big dog, you supposed to be our number 1. Come on, and you're playing like a bum. I bet you better start doing your job.
Week 4 at the Seahawks. Dangerous. Beast mode. Legion of Boom. Emerald City Route Artist. Week 5 versus the Broncos.
You're the underdogs. What did this team show against a really difficult team?
That we're the overdogs.
This is such an interesting concept, honestly.
Week 6 at the Chiefs.
Bye week. I'm just interested to see like what
8 at the Rams.
do they play the Patriots? I'm just curious, like if they're gonna mention it in here or something.
Ain't nobody but you got the camera, man. That's what y'all want. That's what y'all want.
Week 9 versus the Texans.
Houston 19, Chicago 13.
Hey, good job out there, bro. Yeah. Hey, keep going. I'm taking those hits. Yeah, hey. Learn from those mistakes, and everything that you got, bro, is in you already, bro. You're gonna be able to play in this league. All right, boy. For sure.
Week 10 at the Ravens. Pass the physical. Week 11 versus the Jets. Record 1 interception.
That one, my goodness, nearly picked. It almost picked.
Week 12 versus the Patriots.
Oh, Patriots. Here we go. What is this?
Conquer the cupcakes.
Oh, New York Post, dude. What's that?
Week 13 at the Buccaneers. Fool the
There was a slight. That was a slight nod, I think. Very slight. Very slight.
Week 14 at the Raiders.
It's a cool.
15
Cool we're doing. Let's pull up the. I saw something that. Did I? Donna Kelsey in the.
This is QV Chiefs, the Kingdom Schedule
think she may be.
Shopping Network.
QV Chiefs.
Welcome to QV Chiefs. I'm your host, Bruce.
And I'm your better host, Gail.
Get those telephones ready, Chiefs Kingdom, because today's episode has an incredible lineup of juicy products. And we don't mean cheeseburgers.
Bruce, that's right. A whole schedule's worth of items you won't find anywhere else. Shall we, Bruce? Wowee, look what we have here. Jars of rare mile-high air.
Now, we know what you're thinking. Why pay steep prices for something that's usually free?
Well, rest assured, we went to great lengths and heights to harvest only the highest quality premium air. Why don't you give that a big woof, Bruce?
Okay. Looking forward to this.
I hope the horse didn't fart in that one.
I'm sure that's not the case.
Yeah, I got one that the horse farted in.
Hey, Gail.
What is going on here, man?
Adventures, Fedora?
Nope.
Can we please just get through this?
And the jonesing, really, for an Indiana for the best?
The brim is wide enough to block out anything you don't want in your life. You've heard of Hard Rock Stadium, but have you heard of the Hard Rock?
Well, now you have. Say, this is a really hard rock.
If you find a harder rock, this hard rock is free.
What's the difference? There isn't any. Just kidding. This one is smarter.
Hey, Gail, you know what I love?
What's that, your new wife?
Yes. But I also love a fresh pair of
What's
khakis.
going on?
That's why you need Football Guys starch, full of structure and discipline, so that you're always game day ready.
Wowee, looks about as comfortable as a...
Skip through this bit here.
Binoculars.
We are T-minus 12 minutes, man, to the actual schedule release. I mean, I think we've got all the information now, but
I see what you did.
once it actually gets put out,
Tables are great.
we can feed all of our data into. I've got a site set up where we can actually take a look at the statistics, but we got to wait until they actually officially drop the schedule to be able to dig into some of that stuff. So just almost 10 minutes until we can really dig in and start looking at some of the statistics related to the season. So super excited.
Table leaves a lot to be desired, but the Indestructible can withhold even the most ill-advised body slams.
Now that looks like good, clean, safe fun for the whole family. Well, I'd like to thank Gail's mom for stopping by.
All I see are two dummies on one chair.
Well, listen, with a dab of this stuff, not even the Hollywood winds can cramp your style.
Truly, you can make spiky little horns out of this stuff.
Buy Pacific Pomade today. She did a wonderful job. How do you feel, Mom? Sounds like you. Sorry, Barbara. Does your home smell like an NFL locker room?
Well, it happens to the best of us, but worry no more.
That's there too. Deep.
See, I
Red flag.
thought Travis Kelce's mom was in this. Did they just like?
Release Shopping Network.
Got debated or something. Or I guess there was something in there. Oh, they already got their banners switched out and everything. So they got week 1 against the Broncos. That's a good one. Yeah, Monday Night Football. The Colts, Dolphins. Little Malik Willis action. Be interested to see like if when Patrick Mahomes is back. I think he's doing pretty well with his injury. There's been some talk that maybe he's somehow ready for week 1, but I kind of doubt that. But we'll see. But yeah, man, they've got a lot of primetime games too. Their first 2 weeks are primetime games. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's probably going to be near the top. There might be one team that beats him out from that. We'll see though. It's another team we should do. Let's see. Let's do the Cowboys, I guess, if we have to. It's like this is the video. Yeah, it's the video. 8 minutes long. Holy crap.
Tyler.
Gentlemen, we are honored to be here today and further the goals of the Tyler Intelligence Agency.
The whole world will know about us.
Gentlemen, let's hear from the boss.
My fellow Tylers, we have placed undercover Tylers within the organizations of each opponent on the 2026 schedule, and today we reveal their missions.
Location, New York. Agent, Tyler Newbin. Safety. Mission, torment Malik neighbors via psychological warfare.
That won't be hard. Caleb Downs.
I gotta play against this thing again. He's very good. He's very good.
Bro, he's very good.
Caleb Downs is ours, Malik. Fool.
Location, Washington, D.C. Agent, Tyler Owens. Safety. Mission, convince quarterback to join Hinge. The QB shows a pattern of throwing himself into harmful situations. In response, he is well protected, both on and off the field. Be careful.
Don't mess with mama.
Location, Baltimore.
Oh, wow, this is Brazil game.
They spent some time on this one, man.
Kicker.
He's already done great work for the company.
Mission, expand scope of work internationally to Brazil. Intel, agent's previous mission to miss the season-ending
So,
kick was a success.
Minute long video.
What the hell are y'all doing? What are you doing here? Tyler's only. Get out. Silence from you. Tyler's. And let that be your only warning.
Be very the top.
Lee texted me, but I can't wait to talk to Matthew.
I told him to get close with Matthew and his family. When our game comes up, he's a little bit more distracted than usual. We had this move, Travis.
All right.
Others, I look forward to
Tyler.
All right, so they got the Giants week 1. Oh, that's right. They've got the game in Rio against Brazil. That'll be cool. The travel probably won't be as cool for them, but it'll be cool. A cool game. Got my Titans here, November 22nd. That'll be a fun one. Always fun to play the Cowboys just because there's so many Cowboys fans out there, especially in Dallas too. See if we can, celebrate in the Star. All right, let's see. I'm just trying to go through some random teams. We're almost at time. We got about just under 6 minutes till the full schedule drop, and we can take a look at all the data all compiled together. Let's see. What team? Welcome to the stream. If anybody's just rolling in, feel free to drop your favorite team, and we can dive into them, take a look at their schedule release video, or and the schedule's about to come out here soon, so we could do some deep dives and look at some statistics. I've got some pretty cool graphics that have built out that we're going to be able to kind of dig into some of these schedules and dissect some of them, some of the weeks and stuff. That should be pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, they have like a Simpsons one. This is cool. You had to get work with Simpsons for this. It's pretty cool.
Who's the skinny guy?
Week 1 against the Ravens. That's a tough start. Some history though between the two teams. I think the Colts used to be in Baltimore, right? It's the Texans, little divisional matchup. The Texans will probably win that one. Commanders in London. Just see how the Commanders are this year. They kind of took a step back last year after Jaden Daniels had a really solid rookie year. He kind of cooled off, and the team kind of cooled off. Kind of took a step back. But we'll have to see. Be interested to see if Jaden Daniels has another like top tier season. I think he got injured too, if I'm not mistaken. So, oh, week 6 against the Tennessee Titans, man. Let's go. Got the Colts this year, man. We got them. Oh, the infamous meme. Got the Cowboys. Dolphins.
Son, I represent a group of oil tycoons who make foolish purchases.
New York is a hellhole.
This is funny.
You know how I feel about hellholes.
Let's take a look at some others. Feel free to drop any suggestions in the chat. Let's see. What teams have we not done? Do like Cardinals, random team. That one? Yeah, this one.
Scott's schedule reveal. Welcome everybody.
Like a Zoom
to
call or
2026
Teams meeting.
Mascot schedule reveal. Thanks for jumping on. Please make sure your cameras are on and your mics are off. Big Red, let's start off with a refresher on who your opponents will be this season. Let's start with your division. The 2026 season marks the season of head coach Mike LaFleur. Arizona, you guys have the NFC East this year. The Eagles.
I feel like this is like AI generated. Kind of lame.
Cardinals will play the Washington Commanders. You know, the Broncos.
This feels like an AI generated schedule release. Lame, in my opinion. Let's see. Who else? Broncos? Old Denver Broncos action. Is it this one? Yeah.
Chatting? TikToking? I know what you're doing. Are you memes maxing?
That's actually not a thing.
Peyton Manning.
Well, I was doing some homework. Now I'm checking to see if the Broncos schedule release video's out yet.
Schedule release videos? Are you kidding me? Mosey, back when I played, we had to read the newspaper to find out who our opponents were. We didn't have the internet back then.
I'm pretty sure you had the internet your whole career.
I'll have to fact check that. I know one thing, there were absolutely no schedule release videos.
Mom said you've been in schedule release videos.
Huh? How do you know that? All right, let's just see what's on TV.
Welcome to the den. What do we got?
Male, mid-30s Steelers fan, suspected Progi overdose. His friend said he ingested 40.
40. We got a code blue.
And orange?
Yes. Orange and blue.
Boom. It is
Let's see some
officially
fans, people.
Fanxiety XR provides long-lasting relief.
8 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Central. You can see that the ESPN's doing like a whole like show for the schedule release. Let me see if I can grab the data yet. We can get that populated and we can start taking a look at it. Right, doesn't look like it's there. It's there yet. see here, trying to
Overwhelming anxiety that comes with traveling to Denver.
I definitely get worried going anywhere with my husband.
there we go. Okay, the data is coming in now, and we'll be able to
His
break
life
it
would be
down
so much easier if he wasn't
here
doing
in
this.
just a minute.
I'm Bo Nix.
Pulling all the data from
Unbelievable. This guy is in every single
ESPN's
commercial.
back end, and then
You're saying
should be able to
that?
get this
What? Kind of jealous, actually.
loaded up.
Wish I could be in that.
Take a
many
look at it.
commercials. Thank you very much. I have nothing left to look forward to except slicing my tomatoes, making dinner for my family, putting together this wedge salad.
Denver International Airport is a hot.
I was a little worried that that the data wouldn't update near real time. I was like, oh man, what if I can't grab this data? But it's coming in now, so
Bridge, a portal to another dimension. Uniquely Broncos. So for you Miami fans coming here a mile high, look out and take cover because we are calling for a sack storm warning.
The Rocky Mountain equine patiently waits for his opportunity to strike. Watch as the jaguar has no idea what it's walking into.
You just peel off the adhesive magic strip,
awesome. So I think we've
tear,
got
and apply. Bam! Now watch
updated
this. Bam!
data.
Why don't you take a seat for me right here?
All right, cool. Let's turn this off. Let's load up. Our thing here. Cool. So yeah, we're on V14. All right, sweet. So we got all the games loaded up here. So this is something that I built out where we can take a look at the schedule and take a look at some of the different statistics like strength of schedule and how it's distributed across the season. Travel, right? How many miles teams are going to have to travel to away stadiums and travel to, you know, international games and things like that. How many primetime games each team is going to get, and how many like short weeks versus long weeks teams have, and we'll see like, you know, how that's defined and all of that stuff. But we'll just start out with taking a look through the schedule, right? I mean, we've spent some time looking at some of the videos, so we have an idea of some of the games that are going to happen, but now we can actually kind of look at it all here put together. So yeah, week one, looks like we've got the kickoff game, right? So the kickoff game is going to be Super Bowl rematch from last year. So that'll be really cool. We got Patriots versus Seahawks. NFL is probably wishing they didn't do that right about now with the whole Mike Vrabel situation. But so we'll see that thrust in the spotlight, you know, week one on kickoff night. But that should be a good game. Should be a good rematch. Hopefully it's a better game than the Super Bowl was, because the Patriots were not very competitive in that game. So I hope it's a little bit more competitive than it was for the Super Bowl. And then we've got the game out in, I think this is the international game. It doesn't look like it labeled it correctly as international. Let me see. Yeah, it didn't. That didn't work for some reason. That's fine though. But yeah, so I believe this is in Melbourne, Australia, I believe. 49ers Rams should be a really good game. Kind of sucks for the Rams though, right? Because that counts as a home game. That goes for all of the international games, where that'll just count as a home game and they get one less home game because of that. That's a divisional game too, so that'll be a big one, right? This game could, even though it's the first game, right, could have a big impact on playoffs, right, for the end of the season, which is kind of crazy to think about. My Titans, we got the Jets week one. Excited about that. I think we get our first home game in a while, so that'll be good. Let's see here. Steelers, Falcons. And if you're just coming into the stream, we're starting to break down some of the schedule that was just released. So let me know if you've got a team that you want to take a look at, and I'm going to check out, who they're playing and statistics on their strength of schedule and other fun stuff like that. We're kind of just starting out here looking at the schedule and kind of just taking note of some of the primetime games, some of the big games that we see. So we got week 1 Sunday night football games. We got the Cowboys and the Giants. Big divisional matchup there. And then another big divisional matchup for Monday Night Football with the Chiefs versus the Broncos. Depending on if Patrick Mahomes is back, we talked about this earlier, but I kind of don't think he will be back maybe for this game. If he is, awesome, right? And this will be a really good game, but this might be an underwhelming one week 1 if Patrick Mahomes isn't back. We'll have to watch that and see. Week 2, right? We got Thursday Night Football, Lions, Bills, really solid game. Got my Titans taking on the Eagles. It's going to be a tough one. Luckily, it's at home, so that's good. But that doesn't mean much for the Titans these days. We've been bad for a few years now, so fan turnout isn't always the best. But hopefully that'll help us out a little bit there. Let's see. Divisional game here. Vikings, Bears. We got a lot of primetime games here at the end. Is this right? Is this a Sunday night doubleheader? Looks like some of the broadcast information isn't pulled in yet. I'm actually curious if I go in and just try to rerun that. I wonder if it'll pull some of that info. I bet some of it isn't in there yet. I think that's why I don't have international games and we don't have some of that stuff in there. Yeah, we'll re-pull it and we'll see. We'll refresh and see if it pops up, but not too big of a deal. But yeah, kind of curious about that. If that's right, if we're gonna start having Sunday night double headers, it's kind of cool. I know they got rid of the ESPN double headers, and a lot of people thought, or ESPN didn't have them anymore. And I think a lot of people were like, oh, some other network is just gonna get the Monday night doubleheader, the second game, but it looks like they might be shifting that to a Sunday night doubleheader, a late night Sunday game. It's really really interesting. Yeah, this is right. This is weird. The Patriots, that'd start at 10 p.m. Is that right? I'm curious. You go up here and look at the. Wait, so what game is that? Steelers. Yeah, so something looks like it's off here. I think it's just inconsistencies in the ESPN data, which is unfortunate. They must have the wrong time in there. Yeah, because it's showing really late. See, let me try something real quick. going back to a previous version. It looks like it's just the ESPN data. Some of the data that they've put in is a little off. All right, so let's look through some more of these. We got Bears, Patriots, Thursday Night Football game on week 7. We've got a Monday Night Football game. It looks like on prime time here, the Chiefs and the Seahawks. That'll be a good game with Patrick Mahomes back. I think the Chiefs will be a little bit improved from last year. We'll see. I think there's still some questions on the defensive side of the ball, and honestly, do they have enough weapons around Patrick Mahomes? But I think as long as Patrick Mahomes is there, they always kind of have a chance to to go on a run and be half decent. But it seems like they've been creeping away from that more and more every year. But we'll see if they kind of get back on track. Let's just skip through here. Let's get through some of these games. Get Commanders and Giants, kind of a lackluster Thursday Night Football game there. Then we got Sunday night game, between a big divisional matchup between the Bengals and the Steelers. That could be a good one. Monday Night Football, Chargers, Ravens. Also could be a really good one. Monday night. Yeah, it's interesting. Like some of them, it looks like we've got broadcast information, and some of them we don't. Is this what week is this? Okay, let's look at the third. Let's look at the Thanksgiving games. Let's look at what we got on Thanksgiving here. So we've got, I guess, this is the day before Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving Eve, if you will. We've got the Packers versus the Rams in Los Angeles. That'll be a solid game there. But right before Thanksgiving, and then we've got 1 p.m. on Thanksgiving. We've got the Lions, no surprise, they always play on Thanksgiving, versus the Bears. We've got a divisional matchup against the Cowboys and the Eagles. Also, no surprise there. The Cowboys and the Lions always get a game on, I believe always get a home game on Thanksgiving. And then you've got primetime game on Thanksgiving is the Bills versus the Chiefs. Another good matchup there. Good one for Thanksgiving. And then there's a Black Friday game. So Broncos at Steelers. Has the potential to be a solid game as well. Oh, and then we got one of the Titans' lone evening games against the Jags. Not really sure why it's in the evening because it's on the East Coast, but we'll take it. One non-noon game. I think we only have like 2 non-noon games the entire season. And then we've got Panthers-Bucks on Monday night, which that'll be a solid game. Let's look here. Let's look toward the end. Let's look on Christmas. Let's see what Christmas games we have. So we've got, looks like we got a Christmas Eve game on Thursday night football Christmas Eve game. It'll be really cool. It's the Texans at the Eagles. Could be a good one too. And then we've got on Christmas Day at 1 p.m. Packers at Bears. Big rivalry game there. Will be really, really solid game. And then in the evening, we've got the Bills, the Broncos. And then in prime time, we've got the Rams at the Seahawks. Solid game. And then kind of coming into the end of the season here, got a lot of divisional matchups. Week 17, or we've got Ravens at the Bengals. We've got Chiefs at the Chargers. We've got Giants at Cowboys. But this will likely, any of these AFC North matchups, man, they're always big time games at the end of the season. Same with like Chiefs, Chargers, right? That'll probably be a big game depending on how the Chiefs season goes. And then week 18, man, is all divisional games, I believe. Yeah, it's all divisional games. See the little div tag. Then obviously they're all, yeah, it shows like just this default for the time, but they're all, I think they're all TBA, right? They don't set the time on the last week of games until week 17 is over. They basically just want to make sure that there aren't any games that like, you know, get played early and then like the games later don't matter anymore, right? They try to make all the games, you know, exciting, and you know, games that affect each other happen at the same time and that kind of thing. Cool. So let's jump over to strength of schedule. Let's see what teams' strength of schedule is looking like. So we've got, looks like the Bears here have rated as the hardest schedule. And just so you kind of understand the strength of schedule, in case anybody doesn't really understand like what that means. So it's really just taking each opponent that a team plays. So we can see, like, if I look at their first opponent, right, in week 1, the Panthers were 8-9 last year in 2025. And that gave them a winning percentage of 47.1%, right? And then we just take all of their opponents, you know, combine them together and then divide by how many games they play. And that gives you the average of their average strength of schedule, right? So theirs is a little bit above average, right, with 55%, and being the hardest. Looks like they kind of have I would say that's like a mid game. It's rated just green just because it's right below 50%. Kind of right at average. They have a couple above average games, right, against the Vikings, Eagles, and they dip way down, right, play the Jets, and what should be an easier week for them. Obviously, this all of this can change because it's just based on last year's rating, last year's records. Teams can have huge flips, and when we saw the Patriots, right, the year before last, had 4 wins, and then they were in the Super Bowl the next year, right? So big things can change between seasons, but this is the best indicator we have in the last year's record to go off of for strength of schedule. But yeah, so they kind of have have easier games here and there, but definitely some harder games, especially right here before their bye week, man. They've got the Patriots, and then they've got the Seahawks. You know, they're going to take on two Super Bowl teams in 2 weeks here. Before they dip down and play the Buccaneers, but I wouldn't necessarily label that as an easy game by any imagination. They're kind of right on the league average, right around, 500. And they have a pretty tough end stretch of the year, right? They got the Saints, but then outside of that, the Dolphins will probably be easier. They'll probably be worse this year than they were last year. I'm high on Malik Willis, but I don't think they're setting him up, for success. We got the Lions. I think the Lions will be a little bit better than they were last year. I think they kind of underperformed last year. Got the Jags, who are really good. We'll see if they're able to keep that up. Not a big Jags fan, but they did have a good season last year. They got the Bills, rough one. Got the Packers, got the Lions, and got the Vikings, right? It's a rough stretch at the end. So definitely see how they have the hardest hardest strength of schedule. It's a bit brutal. And then we look at second, right? We got the Dolphins, but that's rough because they don't have Tua, they have Malik Willis. Really like him, but I just don't think they're set up for success, and they kind of get the feel that they're maybe trying to tank this year. Not sure, but we'll see. Hey, what's up? 7 is a prime number. Can you bet on a schedule? I don't know if you. Do you mean like? I guess, are you talking about like betting on what the schedule? Yeah, so it already came out, but I think you can. Yeah, I think you can, like before a schedule comes out. I'm pretty sure you can bet on it. I feel like these days you can bet on like almost anything. So I'm pretty sure you can bet on schedules, but I don't know how that works with like all the schedule leaks that come out and all of that. You probably have to have your bet in like a good bit before. But yeah, I haven't messed with that. It'd be interesting. I have to check that out sometime. But yeah, looking at the Dolphins, man, it's brutal. Especially here at the end of the year. It's kind of a mixed bag early on. Yeah, there's always next year. Yep. Now that would be fun, man, to kind of try to like bet on what games you think, are going to be at what weeks for like a certain team. Who's your team? Who's your main NFL team? Dolphins, Cards, Chargers are probably going to tank. Yeah, probably. I think the Dolphins will probably tank. Like I was talking about before, like I'm a big Malik Willis fan because the Titans drafted him, so I feel like we didn't really give him an adequate chance. But I don't really think the Dolphins are setting him up for success there. He doesn't really have any receivers to throw to. They got like rid of all their receivers, traded them all away and stuff. So we'll see. But yeah, I think they're kind of setting themselves up to tank. And they're like, if Malik Willis turns out to be amazing, then like, okay, cool. But I just don't know if he's going to be able to do much with what he's given over there. Yeah, Cardinals are probably tanking for sure. Chargers, I don't know. I don't know if the Chargers are probably tanking. I think the Chargers will be winning, trying to win with Herbert, but. Oh, nice. You're a Bills fan. Don't follow the NFL much though. Yep. Yeah, the Bills have been solid, man. The Bills have been solid for a good bit. Looks like they got the 8th hardest schedule though. Looking at the strength of schedule. Got a pretty brutal start to the season. So who do they play? They play the Texans week 1. It's got a pretty good defense. As a Titans fan, we play them twice a year. The defense was brutal last year. Then you got the Lions. Lions are decent. They kind of underperformed last year, but I think they'll be a little better this year, though. I feel like it was kind of an off year for the Lions. It was a year that I really thought they were going to be like really good. I thought they had a chance to, be in the Super Bowl and all that, but did not turn out that way for them. I got the Chargers. They had a decent season last year at 11-6. Patriots, we'll see how they shake out with all the Mike Vrabel drama, but they had a big turnaround last year, right? I mean, they had 4 wins, I think, the year before, and then they flipped it to 14-3 and in the Super Bowl. We'll see how they follow up their big year last year. Yeah, so this line right here is just, this is 50%, right? So this would be like having the same amount of wins and same amount of losses. So anybody that's above that is like above like 50%, right? So a harder team to play versus a team below is you know, supposedly a little easier to play. But then yeah, so they have a little string of maybe easier games. I wouldn't say the Ravens are necessarily easier, but easier than maybe some of these teams at the beginning. But then you dip down, you play the Jets, and then you got the Dolphins. That'll be a good 2-game stretch right there against the Jets and the Dolphins. Two divisional games too, which is nice. Nice to get to play the Jets and the Dolphins 2 times a year each. Yeah, and you guys have the Bears. Then you get another 2 easy games at the end of the year too. It's a nice way to end against the Dolphins and the Jets again. Another Raiders tanking year. Yeah, so I don't know if they'll be like intentionally tanking this year, but I still think they're gonna lose a ton of games. Even with Mendoza, I mean, I think it's just going to take some time, right? I mean, I think it's going to look like kind of how the Titans did last year. It's like Cam Ward looked good, but the team was just so bad around him that we just lost like almost every game. We only won 3 games last year. So, I mean, I think it'll be probably similar to that for the Raiders. They get an easier game at the start of the season. That'll be interesting. Little Fernando Mendoza versus Malik Willis action. I'm here for it. And they get the Saints. And the Chiefs. We'll see how the Chiefs are this year. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be back at the start of the season. He might be back by this game, though. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. But the Chiefs without Patrick Mahomes is not a very scary Chiefs team, in my opinion. I don't even know who their backup is, to be honest with you. Yeah, Chiefs should get a 9+ win season. Yeah, like I think they'll definitely have a bounce back from last year because I mean last year was brutal for them. But we shall see. I think a big part of it will just be like when is Patrick Mahomes back by and when is he ready to play. Saw some indications that he might be back for week 1, but that seems a little quick, in my opinion. Yeah, speaking of the Chiefs, they started with a pretty tough game against the Broncos in a game that I think it's a primetime game where they may not have Patrick Mahomes. That might be a tough one, but they have kind of a string of easier games here, right? So they go Colts, Dolphins, and Raiders. It's a winnable stretch of games, even if they do have a backup quarterback in there. That could be big for them, right? That could be a saving grace, those 3 games. And they have a bye week right after that in week 5. So if they could come out with a couple wins out of this, and then they have their bye week, and you know they're not sitting too horrible after the opening part of the season without Patrick Mahomes, you know, and then they come into a much tougher stretch, right, against the Chargers, Seahawks, Broncos. And they have another little dip down, right, with the Jets, the Falcons, the Cardinals, and they end a little harder. But yeah, those 3 games that could be big for them. Let's look. So let's flip the. We could flip it to easiest first. Let's take a look at some of the easier schedules this season. So it looks like the Browns have technically the easiest schedule. Looking at strength of schedule with a really nice back part of the season here. Basically, after their Week 11 bye, they don't have a single team that was over 50% winning percentage in, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. That's really nice for them. And honestly, it's not that hard on the front end either, right? You got the Jags, which they had a decent year last year, which pains me to say, but and they got the Bucks and the Panthers, who are teams that are both like really good, but I just feel like that division beats up on each other so much that they all end up with like horrible records, and they all have horrible records and are fighting for the playoffs every year. So like I feel like these two teams are really good. Honestly, a lot of the teams in that division are good, or decent at least, but they just beat up on each other and their record ends up looking bad. So the two kind of on average teams here for strength of schedule wise, you got the Steelers, like the Jets, an easier one. Ravens, I would say, I think the Ravens will be a little better than they were last year. Just if Lamar can stay healthy, that's a big if, but we'll see. They got the Titans, much easier game for them, but I do think the Titans will be a little improved this year. I'm hoping that we can get like more 6 to 7 wins. I know that's still not like crazy successful, but after having 3 wins the last 2 seasons, I will take 6 to 7 wins, man. I will take that all day long. So hoping this is a bit harder of a game for them than it looks like on this graph. But yeah, the Browns have an overall what looks to be a pretty easy schedule. I will say, though, the Titans, if you looked at coming into last year, they had the 4th easiest schedule, and they ended the season with the hardest strength of schedule. So that shows you how much teams change throughout the year and how much this can change throughout the season. Yes, we got Browns, we got the Saints with another pretty easy strength of schedule, 43.4. Bengals, they've got a really solid back part of the season, kind of looks similar to how the Browns have an easier back part of their season. Got the Falcons, got another good 5 games, easier 5 games to close out the season. Honestly, it's a lot of divisional matchups, so those games will probably be absolute slugfest, but they get the Browns, Commanders at the end of the season. Get the Colts, Lions, Texans, and the Titans here. So take a look at the Titans. So if it gets the Jets, you got the Eagles, which I think is going to be a tough one. I think that one's at home for the Titans, but that's going to be a tough one. Honestly, we'll probably lose that one. We'll see. Giants, winnable one. Ravens, that'll be a little bit more tough. I think it's away too, maybe somewhat winnable, but definitely a more difficult one for us. The Texans, I feel like since we're division opponents, like any division game is always maybe somewhat winnable, but that'll be a difficult one with how tough their defense is, even though Cam Ward did play pretty well against them last year. Got the Colts, which I think they're going to take a step back. So I think that won't be, I think it's definitely winnable. Browns is winnable. Bengals, we'll see. It just depends. I feel like Joe Burrow and the Bengals is always such a wild card. Got the Jags after the bye, so we got a week 9 bye. Really like that placement, right? It kind of splits up the games. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 8 games before and 9 games after, right? So really central. That's what you want. You hate when you see like super early buys where people have like a week 5 buy, or I think they used to even do like week 4 buys back in the day, but then you kind of get into the ones that are kind of just, there's a lot of up and down, right? I mean, there's kind of streaks throughout the season. You can see with the Jags, they've got like an easier stretch, but then they've got some harder stretches at the beginning and the end. And then we get some of the ones that we already took a look at there. Let's go over to strength of schedule. So this is strength of schedule for the entire season. Let's take a look at it distributed kind of across the early part of the season, the middle part of the season, and then the late part of the season. So looking at early here, so weeks 1 through 6, the Broncos look to have the hardest start to the season. So we've got, they start off against the Chiefs. So not too bad. I think that will be probably Patrick Mahomes-less. So that should be a winnable game for them for sure. But then they go on a stretch where they play the Jags, the Rams, the 49ers, the Chargers, and the Seahawks. That's a pretty brutal stretch for them. At a 66.7% win rate or winning percentage, averaged across those 6 games. That's pretty brutal. And then followed by the Cardinals. So they've got a 60.8% win percentage average of the teams that they're playing against in the first 6 weeks. So they got the Chargers, the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Giants. So that's a little reprieve for them in the middle of some tough games. But I think the Cardinals are going to be struggling kind of this season. The Giants, that might be a winnable game for them potentially. But a lot of these games, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for them to come out with wins. So the Cardinals could be looking at being, 1-5 here if they can beat the Giants, or, even worse than that. Maybe they get a surprise win against one of these teams, but I think it's going to be a pretty brutal start for the Cardinals, and it could be a rough one. Got the Jags here. They get an easier start to the season against the Browns. We'll see if that's Shedeur Sanders. Is that Deshaun Watson? Not really sure right now. Be interesting to kind of see how that shakes out for the Browns. So I'm rerunning the script real quick. Trying to see if we can get some updated data, because when I first pulled it in, ESPN's data was all over the place. So it looks like we're getting maybe some more accurate data coming in now. So I'll refresh here in a moment when that updates. Because some of their times are all over the place. It said they were like Sunday night games at 10 p.m. and all kinds of stuff. So we'll update that. Actually, let's just let this update and we'll refresh. All right, let's see who has the easiest first part of their season here. So the Giants at 35.8. So they play the Cowboys. They play the Rams. Wouldn't necessarily say like those 2 games are super easy. I think that the Cowboys are kind of middling right now. But I would say they're better than the Giants right now. The Rams is a tough game. But then it dips off a good bit, right? The Titans, got the Cardinals, got the Commanders. We'll see how they are. And you got the Saints. So a nice little stretch right there from week 3 through week 6. Some winnable games for the Giants there. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants start off decent, right? I don't think they'll win all these games, but I think they'll grab 2 or 3 of them, possibly. So could have a somewhat okay record after 6 weeks, which is something we haven't seen out of the Giants in a bit. All right, I just updated this. Let's refresh. I'm curious if so some of these are showing up as international games now. That was something that we were not getting before. So now if I take a look and I do my international game, there we go. So we can start to see some of these, right? We got Melbourne, Australia, Rio, Munich, Mexico City. Nice. All that stuff is starting to come in, which is awesome. And we've got broadcast information for all of these. Awesome. Yeah, let's go back over here. Giants are the easiest. Got Titans up here at 26th. Hardest, or what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th easiest in the first 6 weeks. Got the Jets. Eagles is tougher. Got the Giants, which is a little easier. Then you got the Ravens, who I think are going to be better than that record this year. Got the Texans, and you got the Colts, which I think are going to be a little worse than that this year. So kind of up and down, right? Two main tough games, in my opinion, right? The Eagles, Ravens. Well, 3, I guess, with the Texans. But then 3 kind of easier matchups, I would say, against the Jets, Giants, and Colts, possibly. We'll see how they are this season. But hopefully a couple winnable ones, at least right here, right early on, to try to get the Titans some early wins in the season. And like I said earlier, I think this is a good start for the Dolphins and Malik Willis. Getting an easier game against the Raiders and seeing if they can put a win out there week 1. But some of the other games are going to be a little difficult for them. All right, taking a look at mid-season, so weeks 7 through 12. We got the Packers with the hardest mid-season. Their opponents have a average win percentage of 61.2%. So you got the Lions. You got the Panthers. So I think the Lions are going to be better than their record. I think the Cardinals are honestly not Cardinals. Carolina Panthers are going to be pretty decent this year. But I do think the Packers are definitely better than the Panthers. We'll see about the Lions. They kind of had a down year. But definitely not like easy games by any stretch of the imagination there. I think Patriots, that'll be a difficult one. That'll be a good competition. Vikings, we'll see. I think we'll see how they are this season. Not really sure what to expect out of the Vikings this season. They have their bye week 11. A little late of a bye week there. And then they play the Rams, another tough one. So definitely a tough middle of the season for the Packers. But if you're gonna have a tough if you're gonna have a tough part of your season, I'd rather it be the middle of the season rather than the beginning, getting off to a bad start, or at the end when you're desperately needing to win games to make it into the playoffs or for seeding and things like that. Then we have just right behind that, not too far behind, is the Ravens. So they got the Bengals, and then they got a stretch of tough games here in the middle of the midseason. The Bills, the Jags, who were good last year, the Chargers, who were good as well. Then you got the Panthers, who I think are solid, a solid team, and you got the Texans. So definitely a tougher start, or tougher midseason. And then, man, the Bears here in the middle of the season, back-to-back weeks, they've got the Patriots and the Seahawks, both at 14-3 from last year at an 82.4% win percentage. So that's brutal. They play the Buccaneers. They got their Week 10 bye, and they play the Saints after the bye. So that'll be good. Probably a win for them there. And then the Lions to close out the middle of their season. Taking a look at some of the easier mid-seasons, and it's kind of not even close, right? They've got it's easier by like 5% than the nearest is the Jags. So they play the Colts, they play the Ravens. I think the Colts will be a little worse. I think the Ravens might be a little better. So maybe one harder game in this stretch, honestly. And then they play the Titans, they play the Giants, and then they play the Titans again, right? So I mean, that honestly, the Titans, Giants, and then Titans again is really lowering their win percentage. I mean, the Titans at 17.6, the Giants at 23.5. So that's really weighing these two down to give them the 30.6%. But yeah, these are all winnable games for the Jags here in these 6 weeks in the middle of the season. Or I guess the first one is their bye, right? Bye week, and then 5 games. You got the Broncos. Easy with the Cardinals, the Chiefs, which we'll see by this point in the season if they have Patrick Mahomes or not, and if they're able to be a little better this year than last year, which I think they will be. You got the Panthers. They got their Week 10 bye, and then they got the Raiders. So that's nice getting a bye week, and then you get the Raiders after that. So I think they're still going to be. I think they'll be up on the uptrend, next season and beyond. But I think this year will be a little rough for them with Mendoza's first year and just not having a ton around him. You got the Steelers. So we'll see how the Steelers are. I feel like the Steelers always find a way to be decent. So that'll probably be a pretty good game. And then let's take a look at the late season. Wow, the Dolphins, man, they have a much harder end of the season than anybody. I mean, it's almost 10% difference between the nearest out of these last 6 weeks. Man, 70.1% win percentage. That's brutal. Let's dive in and see what these games are. So they play the Broncos, and then they play the Chiefs. They play the Packers. They play the Chargers, the Bills, and the Patriots, man. That's a brutal stretch for them. It doesn't help that their division is brutal too, right? I mean, they've got the Patriots, they've got the Bills, they've got the other team. They got the Jets. They got one easier, but to have to play the Buffalo Bills and the Patriots over and over again is rough. And then, it's 10% lower than that. You got the Jets. So, I mean, this might finish off the tank for these two teams at the end of the season. You got the Broncos. You got the Cardinals. That's a winnable one, possibly. Maybe more competitive. But then you got the Patriots, the Vikings. We'll see where they're at. I think they might be a little lower this season. So, maybe that's competitive. But then you got the Bills at the end of the season. So kind of a rough end to their season. And then same goes for the Rams, where you got the 49ers, you got the Seahawks, and you got the Seahawks again. That's brutal to have to play the Seahawks Week 16 and Week 18. That's really going to decide their season, those two games, along with the Buccaneers, right? That won't be easy either. Looking at the easier games, so we got two tied for the easiest. We've got the Cleveland Browns, 39.2, and then we've got the Bengals at 39.2 win percentage for their opponents. So they play the Bengals. They have a lot of games like almost right at like 500, honestly, but with some that dip below. They've got Bengals, they've got the Falcons, Giants, Ravens, Colts, and Bengals. And then looking at the Bengals, they've got the Browns that we just looked at. They get the Chiefs, Panthers, Colts, Ravens, and then they end with the Browns. It's kind of funny that these last things both end with each other. But then, you know, you've got some that are more up and down here in the middle to scan to see if there's any like big trends in any of these. It's like the Bills have a tougher stretch here at the end as well. Falcons have a pretty good end to their season as well. All right, so let's take a look at travel. That's something that we haven't taken a look at yet. This is just showing how much teams have to travel over the season. It's always a good stat to look at, right? I mean, travel fatigue is real over a season. There are some teams that are kind of destined to fail when it comes to, not fail, but just destined to have more mileage, right? Because of the location of their team. A lot of California teams, right, are having to constantly travel, you know, cross country to get to most teams, especially if they have international games and things like that. And that's where you can see where most of the mileage is coming for the 49ers. I mean, we're looking at Melbourne, Australia. To get there and to come back is over 15,000 miles. So out of 37,882 miles, over 15,000 of those are just the Melbourne, Australia trip. That's insane. And for someone, you know, out there that may not like international games, this is something you could point to as your reasoning is the mileage. But yeah, you can just see like a lot of these even outside of that, right? I mean, just to travel to Atlanta and back, right? Over 4,000 miles. Cowboys, right? Almost 3,000 miles there and back. And honestly, man, the 49ers have gotten kind of screwed mileage-wise. Then they got to go down and play in Mexico City, which luckily for them isn't as far as it would be from some places. But that's still almost 4,000 miles. Actually crazy that it's like closer to Mexico City than it is to Atlanta. But the Giants, right? And that's completely cross country, over 5,000 miles. They got the Chiefs, and obviously anything that's on the East Coast or on the West Coast, or it's on the western part of the country, is much closer. Like only 627 miles to play the Chargers, and under 1,500 to play the Seahawks. But yeah, that's a brutal, with most of that being the Australia chip, which is just so far away from California. Another team that's got a lot of mileage is the Rams, and a lot of that is the same reason, because they're also in California, but they also play the same international game, which is another, 15,000 miles for them. Yeah, which is rough. I think it's just, is it more? 15,800? Yeah, just a few miles, a little bit more mileage than the 49ers. Definitely got to be the most mileage in a single trip for any NFL team this season. But then you see they've got Eagles, they've got the Commanders, right? They've got Tampa Bay. They do have some that are here on the West Coast. Got some home games, obviously. Cardinals, Raiders, Broncos. They got kind of saved with some of these, on the West Coast over there. I think a lot of them are in their division, but it could have been even higher for them. And then you got the Jags. The Jags are super high up here. Somewhat because they have to fly from Florida, right? So they got to fly kind of from the bottom of the country everywhere. Even though Jacksonville's not as far down in Florida as someplace like Miami and Tampa Bay and stuff like that. But the big reason are these 2 London games back-to-back weeks. Now, this is treating it like they're going to travel back home and they're going to travel back. That may not happen, right? They may just stay. I would imagine they're probably going to stay and practice in London in between those 2 weeks. So that would take, one of these off, essentially. It would take like 8,500 off of this total if they do that. So I'm assuming they're going to do that. And that would move them down significantly down this list, probably more into the kind of mid-range. But you kind of see here on the back end, and by the way, this line is the average. This is the average amount of, up here, this league road game average of 2,287, right? So it's kind of the average line that we're tracking. So everything past that is all below the average travel distance. So it's really all front-loaded travel for them in the first few weeks, and then on the back end, it's below average travel for them. Let's take a look at some of the teams that have the least travel. The team with the least travel this season is the Carolina Panthers, right? They just have 8,600, which is crazy. There are some up here that, just the one game to Brazil is more than their entire season to travel. And then the trip to Australia was like double this. But yeah, they got the Falcons. Some of these are under 1,000 miles traveled there and back. Eagles, Packers is a little further from them, but Saints, right? Minnesota, Steelers. And same for the Browns. Being in Ohio, though, they're pretty centrally located. Centrally located, so that helps a lot. So they don't have to travel that far to anywhere. Same with the Titans, right? In Tennessee, more centrally located until they have to go like to the West Coast. Bears, kind of the same thing, right? Until they have to hit the West Coast or go all the way down to Miami. But yeah, definitely the thing to glean from this is this Australia game is brutal travel-wise. It really kind of inflates their mileage totals for these two teams here at the top. And then the Jags playing 2 games in London, definitely upstairs. Really any team that's playing, like they play in Brazil, which is over 10,000 miles from them, right? That's big. All right, so let's take a look at primetime games real quick. So the team with the most primetime games this year is the Rams. So they got 3 primetime games. That's up 3 from last year. So it's comparing to the previous season, right? So it's really a good indicator, right? How many primetime games a team gets, because it's very much how the NFL feels about these teams, right? Because there's a lot of money based on who they put in primetime, how much ad dollars are they going to get from people watching these games. So it's a really good indicator because they've got a lot of money kind of based on these primetime games. So they're feeling really good about the Rams. Apparently they've gotten up, 3 more primetime games than normal, or than last year, sorry. And the most in the league. Then second behind that are the Buffalo Bills and the Cowboys. Bills make sense. I feel like the Cowboys always get a ton of primetime games just because they're the Cowboys and there's a ton of Cowboys fans, and that drives a lot of revenue for them. You can see they had 6 last year too, right? So no change in how many primetime games they've had. They had from last year to this year. 1 additional for the Bills. You've also got the Packers at 6, which is the same that they had last year. You got the Chiefs at 6. It's down from 1. I believe they had the most in the league last year at 7. But yeah, down from that down to 6 this year. You got the Seahawks at 6, up 1 from last year. You got the Bears at 5, which is up 1. Patriots also at 5, up 1 from last year. I really thought we'd see that jump a bit more with them being in the Super Bowl, because last year, coming into the year, they had 4 wins. So that's pretty interesting. You got 5 for the Eagles, 5 for the 49ers. You got 4 for the Ravens, a significant drop-off with how they kind of underperformed last year. I think that -3 from last year to this year is kind of an indicator of that. 4 for the Lions, kind of went down 1 from last year with kind of their drop in record from last year. Texans, all at 4. Let's look at the teams that did not get any or only had like 1 or 2. So the Titans, unfortunately, once again, do not get a primetime game. It's very disappointing to me because I feel like I thought they'd maybe get 1 this season. That's fine though. Like, let us cook outside of the spotlight. That's fine with me. But I was hoping we'd at least get 1 primetime game. Just with Cam Ward looking decent last year and being kind of interesting, and us having more competent coaching staff and maybe being headed in the right direction. That's fine. We'll show them. We'll get some next year. That's all good. We got the Jets, the Dolphins, Raiders, and Cardinals. Kind of no surprise that there's no primetime games for these teams. I would say right now, in the last couple of, especially last year, and what is anticipated for this year is kind of the NFL gutter for now. So that kind of makes sense. But you do have the Saints, who earned themselves a primetime game, up from none last year to 1. And you do have the Browns, who now have a primetime game, up from 0 last year as well. Let's look at the biggest risers. So you can see the biggest riser in primetime games is the Rams, right? They went up from 4 last year. They went up 3 to 7 to have the most in the league this year. Definitely a fun team to watch, so I understand that. Matthew Stafford got the MVP last year. And you got +2 for the Panthers. They went up from 1 last year to 3. They had a pretty decent year. So that makes sense for them. And then +2 for the Jags, up from 1 to 3 with their good season that they had. As far as biggest fallers, that is definitely the Dolphins. They went from 4 primetime games last year down to 0. I think that makes sense. No Tua, no Tyreek Hill, right? No, I think Jalen Waddle's gone too. So kind of a shell of the team that they used to be. So it makes sense that their primetime games kind of fell off. Ravens, they still have 4 primetime games, but down a good bit from the 7 that they had last year. And I think that's with kind of the disappointing season they had. A lot of that is with Lamar Jackson being injured. But that definitely affected how many primetime games they're getting this year. We have the Raiders, who had 3 primetime games somehow last year. Go down to 0. And then we had the Cardinals, who had 2 primetime games that went down to 0 as well. All right, and then last thing to really look at here is teams with short versus long weeks. Right, sometimes teams will get short weeks, right, if they have to play a Sunday game and then they'll have to turn around and play a Thursday night game. Right, what is that, like 4 days, right? So we're kind of looking at anything under 5 days is a short week, and then anything 10 days or greater as a long week. So we can see that the Packers seem to kind of have the most variance, right, in short weeks. And a lot of times you'll see the short weeks and the long weeks will kind of somewhat coincide with each other. Short weeks, a lot of times on the other side of a short week, you'll have a long week, right? So a lot of times you'll see that correlate, and I think that's what we'll see here. But we can see that we have the Packers have 4 short weeks, which is rough, right? That's less days to prepare, less days of rest in between games. You see they got 4 days turnaround time between the Jets and the Falcons. They've got 4 days turnaround between the Lions and the Panthers. 5 days between week 15 and week 16, and 5 days between 17 and 18. And that's probably just a lot of primetime games for them. But that's definitely a bit rough. And I bet we'll see, yep, you can kind of see all of the long weeks are on the other side. So you can see week 2, week 3 is a short week. And then we should see like week 4 and week 5 is probably a long week. 3 to 4, my bad. Week 2 to week 3 is a short week. Yeah, week 3 to week 4 is the long week. 10 days of rest where they get the more days on the other side of it. So that's always good, right? But you would rather not have the short week where you have less time to prepare. But then you end up having more time to prepare on the other side. So, you know, trade-offs there. But definitely the Packers have the most brutal side of this. And this kind of stuff can affect seasons, man. It really can. On, you know, having a lot of these. Luckily, they're not back-to-back-to-back. They're kind of spread out through the season. I will say at the end of the season, that's rough. Week 15, week 16, and then week 17 to week 18. Those are very important parts in your season to have, you know, 5 days of rest in between. Then we've got the Broncos and the Texans with 3 short weeks. So Chargers, Seahawks, and then Raiders to Steelers, and then Raiders again to the Bills, right? So it's rough. For only 4 days rest before you go take on the previous Super Bowl champions in the Seahawks. It's pretty brutal. Only 5 days before you take on Steelers. Only 5 days before you take on the Bills. That's rough, right? Those are 3 big crucial games for their season. And they've all got to do those on short rest. And somehow how that shakes out, it's probably with bye weeks and stuff. They only get 1 long week as a result of that, which is rough. A lot of times you'd like to see that trade-off like we saw with the Packers, right? Where it's like short week makes a long week, but that doesn't really appear to be the case outside of after week 6 and coming into week 7. They get a little bit more time. They get a little more time to play the Cardinals, probably a team that they probably wish was on a short week versus being on a long week. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And then same with Texans, right? You've got before they play the Colts, 4 days of rest, before they play the Eagles, 4 days of rest, and before the Titans, 5 days of rest. That could help my Titans. I'll take that. But yeah, definitely a little rougher for them, but not as hard of games as the Broncos, I would say, before those days of rest. The Eagles is a pretty difficult game, but. And then you got some other teams here with short weeks. Like 2 short weeks seems to be pretty common. I mean, we're still at 2 short weeks all the way down to the 11th team. You got this sorted by most short weeks right now. Then we got some teams with 1, right? And then we get to the teams that don't really have any primetime games, right? So if you're playing it, you know, on Sunday every day, well, you don't really ever have any short weeks and you don't really ever have any long weeks, which is kind of nice, right? It's very predictable. You can kind of get into a rhythm. But yeah, when you start getting on the other side of that, like the Packers and the Broncos and the Texans, right? Things can get a bit wonky on team schedules and when they're practicing and, you know, how much time they have to prepare and how much time they have to recover in between games, especially with injuries and stuff. Take a look at the most long weeks. Obviously, that's going to be the Packers. But then you also have the Patriots, who have 3 long weeks. Probably just how these, off the back of these, and then probably something. Oh, that's right. It's off of the kickoff game. They get an extra long week off the kickoff game because they start on a Thursday night. Makes sense. Yeah, playing on that opening kickoff night can be nice because you get more time before the next potential Sunday game or whenever you're playing. But cool, yeah. So I think that's we've kind of broken down everything here on the schedule. I think we went through all of these different things. We went through the schedule, checked out some of the key games, international games, primetime games, big divisional matchups. We took a look at the strength of schedule, right? The Bears, Dolphins, Cardinals, Packers, and some other teams have some tougher overall schedules, especially this brutal end of the season for the Dolphins here that might kind of finish off their tank, if you will. And then as far as easiest, right, we got the Browns, we got the Saints, we got the Bengals. Then we took a look at breakdowns from, early season, mid-season, late season. Looked at some travel, right? Looked at the brutal Australia travel week that really makes these makes the 49ers and the Rams travel really crazy looking. But they are on the West Coast, so their travel week to week is kind of crazy, right? And often above average versus some of the teams we see down here that, hell, the Panthers only have like 8,000 miles of travel coming and going over the entire season, which is really nice for them. It's a big advantage, honestly. Same with like the Browns, right? And even like the Bears and the Titans, right? Not a ton of travel for those teams. And some of that is because they're more centrally located and don't have any international games. Then primetime games, right? We got Rams with the most primetime games, Bills, the handful of other teams. And then we took a look at the short and long weeks, where the Packers have definitely kind of gotten the rough end of the brunt there. But also, I'm probably gonna end the stream there, guys. Appreciate everybody that tuned in and hung out for me for a bit here in the stream. Had a lot of fun breaking down all this stuff. So this is actually the second stream that I've done this off season. So we did the NFL draft stream. So feel free to go back and take a look at that. Me and my buddy Aaron, we went down. We streamed the NFL draft live for the entire first round of the draft. So that was a lot of fun. Got a lot of views, live viewership on that. I think we almost got to 250. So definitely go check that out if you want to see some more content. But with that, guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and log off. Appreciate everybody joining in, and maybe be seeing you guys again soon. I know that me and Aaron, we've discussed maybe doing like some schedule breakdowns and predictions videos, maybe specifically for the Titans, but also maybe for some other teams too. So definitely be on the lookout for that coming around the corner, and I'll post on my Instagram. Also, Instagram's in the bio of my account, so definitely go and drop a follow there and keep up to date with all the content that I'm hoping to be putting out over this year, football related content. But thanks, guys. Appreciate all the support. I will see